Alright everyone, we're here tonight at Bar A with the band SugarDragon. They are pretty new to the cover band scene, but not new on the stage. These guys have a long history and we're here to ask them some questions and get to know them. So to our right we have the singer and bass guitarist, Steve.
Hello.
In the middle we have John, the drummer and vocalist, and then we have Rob on guitar and also vocalist. Basically tonight they're going to be putting on a show for us, so we'll get some footage for you guys. We just wanted to ask some questions, and first we're going to start with how you guys started your band. When did you become SugarDragon, and whose idea was it?
So I can answer some of this. The two-part thing. One part was John had reached out to me. They had a girl that was a singer that he works with, wanted to put together a band for her. So he had asked me about doing that, and if I knew anybody or anything. And I was already in a band at the time, so I didn't have the time for it. But I go, yeah, let's I'll help you out. I go, let's reach out to Steve here, and let's pick some songs and have her come in and sing. And when we finally got it together that we were going to do that, she then flaked and go, I didn't know we were going to be in a band. Like, I was not ready for this, and completely flaked out. So at that point, we decided, well, let's just get together. We already said we're going to get together. Let's get in the room and play. But we decided to start working on this and get it going and see what we can do with it. And immediately when we got together, the vibe was there from the first note, first hit, everything. As soon as we got in a room, we're laughing at each other, we're enjoying it, we're playing, we go into a song, it's like, oh my God, this sounds so great. So that's where it just started from there. Then now, like, we're going to start a band as a trio, right, where it wasn't originally going to go there, but that's where it went. And as far as was the question of where the name came from in there, where the name came from was, we had a list of about 3,000 names that Steve over here came up with. He has the most brilliant mind and is beyond out there anybody else can come up with. And I vetoed about 3,000. I vetoed 2,099 of them.
It got to the point where we had to come up with something.
We had to come up with something.
We're at like a show in like 30 days.
Yeah, I had booked something. I go, for me, I work the best under pressure. I booked something. I go, we need a name. And when we were going through stuff and you're checking things online, like, this is taken, I like it, but it's taken, this is taken. SugarDragon came up, and I just, I found a bakery, I found a jewelry shop, there's things with it, but there was no band that I could find. And I loved it because I wanted something visual. And as far as it being like, I felt like it suited us. It had like, it was like a, just feeling like you want something, SugarDragon could be. Could it be heroin? Could it be like, I want, like, I'm indulgent. Like, I'm indulging in something.
Candy.
Yeah, candy. And I felt like that was us. It was fiery, it was sweet, it's rock and roll. It just had a whole thing about it that I really loved. So.
It was an entire year process,
yes.
by the way.
And they really hated me because I vetoed
hundreds of great names that
I vetoed.
The American Hot Dog Council, Bologna Danza,
Wet Walnuts.
Wet Walnuts,
These are the names I vetoed.
Honestly, it
Can you understand why?
It was a month.
I see why.
And they're great.
Almost a year long.
Actually, no, it was
SugarDragon is great.
Yeah,
SugarDragon is a great name.
I think it really
It's short and sweet, and it's got
Steve came up with a name,
rock and roll,
so he gets all the credit for that.
It is Steve.
But I did go,
it took
this
us
is
a long time to get there.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And they were at the point when I said this is it. They were like, finally.
I don't even care at this point. It was like,
they were all,
it could be like the sub pumps. I'm like, yeah, that's great. The sub pumps.
My left foot.
Yeah, right.
That would have worked too.
No.
At that point.
Well, that definitely is a process finding the name.
Yeah, one that works for sure.
Yeah, but it's an awesome name. So good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Choosing it. Good job. Vetoing the others.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, you guys just didn't start making magic in the last year, right? I know your history.
Yeah.
So, not everyone's going to know the history, right? Because they're not all as old as us, right?
Right.
So, why don't you go back to the late 90s and tell us how that started?
Early 90s, Steve and I had met each other back when he was in Seton Hall University. I was playing in a band called the Headspins and wanted to branch off and do something separate. And I wanted to do something that I was going to play bass and had a drummer that I liked, and then we couldn't find a guitar player that wanted to do what I wanted to do. But what we found was a bass player that could do what I wanted them to do. So I decided then I was going to play guitar. So that's how that started, and it became a band called Big Plum. So that band started back in '93, right?
Oh, wow.
I couldn't even drink. Yeah.
Yeah, 93.
Oh my
And
God.
that was really a long time ago. So that's when I first
20,
met Steve at Seton Hall
maybe 19
University.
you
We
were
did that
in
band for a
yeah.
while. And then that band eventually morphed back into the Headspins, where we dissolved Big Plum into the Headspins. Then when the Headspins broke up in, I'd say, '96,
Yep.
we eventually then joined a band called the Love Pumps that John was in. John was always scouting us. He was always coming out to our gigs. He's like, I like what you guys do. I'm in this band. I know you guys are breaking up. I want you in. You would add so much to the band. That they were very popular at the time, the Love Pumps. But I had a lot more to offer. They were a 4-piece band where it was drums, guitar, bass, and singer, where I played keyboard. I was another guitar player. I did a lot more colorful stuff on guitar, that kind of a thing. So that's where we morphed into that band.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, when the Love Pumps dissolved, I went into Love Lies Bleeding. That was another band where the original guitar player from the Love Pumps left. So we just wanted to change the name because he was the last guy. We went to Love Lies Bleeding, and then that went on for 3-4 years, right? Something like that?
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah,
around
three. Yeah,
somewhere
it
there.
was a couple
Yeah.
years, and then that just ended up, we went our ways. People were breaking up, going separate ways, and then Lifespeed formed. I went with the lead singer of that band with Lifespeed. These guys continued on at that band, and then they all went their direction. I went my direction, and then here we are 20 plus years later, reconnecting again, and we realized, it's just like going back to like your family. It's like an old girlfriend or like a baseball glove that feels so good when you put it on. Like it's like these guys are this is why I want to play guitar.
Yeah.
And I hated playing guitar for a while the last couple of years, and all of a sudden I get in a room with these guys, I'm like, this is my favorite thing right now. All I want to do is get here, and I don't care how tired I am.
Yeah.
They make me laugh, and it's right. I mean, you guys are the best.
Well, there's a lot to
Yeah,
it.
it's
So
a lot.
being a trio is a lot harder than
Yeah.
being,
There's a lot that
4-piece.
goes into it.
So Rob and I have these huge pedal boards. So we try to make ourselves sound a lot bigger than
What we are, yeah.
than this, greater than the sum of the parts, right? So it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of care and time that goes into crafting what we sound like. It's not just learning songs, but it's figuring out how to sound huge with 3 people.
We
all sing.
20 years ago when we were playing, we were here every Tuesday night for Beat the
Nice.
Clock.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, we
That's
were
right.
here
We were here.
every Tuesday for Beat the Clock, and then one weekend night a month. So we were here a good 50, 60 times a year.
We had a lot of history in this place. This was the
Yeah.
beginning
Lot
of
of
both
history.
the Headspins,
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Love Pumps, Love Lies Bleeding,
But we
Lifespeed had been playing here forever.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like the next phase of where Love Pumps and then Love Lies Bleeding, and then that kind of faded away, and then you guys kind of took that avenue and took the spot, and went on for like another 20 years on top of that.
Yeah.
Because the Love Pumps were around from, I think it was around 90, 91, and that was originally Mark Soroka that used to sing for that band. And then Henry Robinson joined the band in 94. I'm sure you'll get around to talking to Henry soon if you haven't.
Event Horizon, very good band.
Yep.
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 he's great.
And then a year after, 95, I joined the band, and a year later, guitar player, bass player left, and Rob and Steve both came in from the Headspins. And then we had PJ Zitarosa played guitar with us as well. He used to play in
Hyperactive.
Hyperactive. Yeah, I almost forgot there. He's out in Cali now, living it up. He's been there for years. But after we all split up, we all were just, doing our own thing. I went and toured with a band in Florida. Steve was doing stuff up here with a few bands. Rob got busy with Lifespeed. We're used to having, the last time we played together, was 5 of us. Actually, kind of 6, maybe even 7, depending. We all sang lead in that band.
Yeah.
We all had our own songs. My brother was our light guy, and he's also an amazing drummer. So he would jump up on stage, and I'd come off and sing the songs that I did, and Rob had his, and Steve,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Henry played bass, so he could jump off. So it was very,
Multi-voiced.
it was great, and it was great because we had all those voices and stuff we were able to do. So it really, I guess, came back down to trying to figure out how, with 3 guys, we're gonna go back to
A big sound.
that big full
Yeah.
sound as much as we can. We knew we could sing. We all are good, right? We're all good at what we're good at.
They can sing.
He can sing.
I am
This guy
awful.
could
He
sing.
That's not
he
true.
can sing his
I've
off.
heard you sing.
I am awful.
Oh, you're not.
But
No.
You're not
I try.
awful at all. No, do a
You
good
were
job,
not.
man.
I
Give
heard
yourself
you
some
sing.
credit.
I heard you
I
sing.
try.
We all do.
I'm no Steve Bukowski over there.
But yeah, for as long as it took us, actually, we rehearsed for a full year before we did our first show too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the name, we're trying to find a name, and rehearsing started well over a year ago, and I think we only really started playing within like the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
What
So
was
we
your
did
first
take-
show?
First show.
Like, yeah, together.
So our first show together was a place called the Waterfront. It was down
Oh, yeah.
in Forked River.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I'm friends with the owner there. We're trying to, I didn't feel we were ready. I didn't feel we were ready. He had reached out to me. He's like, hey, I need something for this. You say you got a band. Can you do this? And I told these guys, I go, we got a gig. We'll get it together, figure it out. And it was, you don't realize what really goes into it. It's one thing rehearsing and being in a
Yeah.
room. You take your time. Oh, we screw it up. Do it again. But going to a gig, you got to bang out songs. You got to now have a thing. I got to write a set.
We had to get
How it's
back
gonna-
into the swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are we gonna do?
Outside of
the whole
studio.
flow, everything. So that was great. That's what I need. I need that. Throw me into the fire. That's how you figure out stuff.
Yeah.
So
I
that was the
think-
first.
What I think too is like, and I don't think people, even if they don't know Love Pumps and Love Lies Bleeding, like, I don't even think they understand the magnitude. Like, for me, being on the cover band scene back in college in the late 90s and hearing you guys, I was like, oh my God. Like, you were almost like a little revolution. Like, I mean, you guys were so immensely popular back then. Like, when I talk to people our age and they say, oh, do you remember this band? They oh my God, yeah. And they usually do reference Bar A because you guys were here. Like, you were like
This
a
is
house
our-
band,
this is our
right?
house
this
band.
is our home
Yeah,
base.
kind of.
And
Yeah.
I think what was cool, and I was telling Jenny that, we didn't have social media back then. I mean, maybe towards the end, MySpace was coming out, right? And the music you guys were playing as Love Pumps and Love Lies Bleeding, it wasn't necessarily on the radio. So, like, there was a lot of times, and I told Jenny this, there was a lot of songs I would hear that you guys would play, and I'd be like, oh my God, I love that. Like, I remember the first time I heard him sing Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson. I'm like, ooh, what is that? And then I would run to Vintage Vinyl and go buy the CD,
Nice.
So, like, you guys
miss
were
that place.
playing music that was, like, new, but people loved it, and they really,
We always tried to be on
went
top of
into
what
it.
was
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
or even ahead of it. And sometimes that worked against us. In a very funny circumstance of that was, we learned Eve 6. What was the song? Eve 6 song.
Inside
I was
Out.
Inside Out. So
Yeah, I
we
remember
learned
you
it
guys. Mm-hmm.
and played it, and it bombed. We played it for a week and it just didn't go over. So we ditched it, and then all of a sudden it was like I want to say like almost 6 months later it
Yeah.
broke,
It was so good.
and then it was a huge song, and then we were like we got to bring that song back. But remember we did it and it tanked.
Yeah.
It totally tanked, and I remember bringing it back, and it was huge. Like you played it at a room,
Yeah.
like we're just like screaming it
Yeah.
out, the
I
whole thing. But like
remember.
we were
was-
we were on top of like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
We
But
were-
me and him, we always listened to underground,
Yeah.
music stuff.
Yeah.
And even back then, I mean, our big station back then was 106.3 before
Yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
ruined it.
Yep.
Was an amazing station
Country.
down at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
But
I remember.
we were always looking at hunting. I mean, I was
Yeah.
in stores
Yeah.
hunting through records, looking for stuff. And
Sure.
Always in. We were both
I was
into
up-
the.
Up north, I was listening to SOU
Yeah.
all the time. That was
Yeah,
my,
SOU
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great too.
Yeah.
That was.
But we were
Still
always
there.
listening
Yeah.
to more of what was going on the British side of music, in
Yeah.
England and all those things. So,
There was I forget what it was, but we did come across some sort of reference, or I forget what it was, but we were able to get on some of the upcoming releases before they were released.
That's
so
right.
we
I remember
were,
you got that
we were
contact.
able
Yeah,
to.
that's
I
right.
think it was called promo only.
Yeah.
And I got a subscription, and promo only was basically every month you got a CD of all the brand new songs that were coming out
Before they got
either
out.
that month or the following month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were going out
So-
to the DJs and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
To the radio
radio
stations.
So
and
we
stuff.
actually were lucky enough to get our hands on this, and we used it for years because we would go through and listen and say, you know, and at that point it was kind of it was kind of like a roll of the dice for us because
Yeah.
we didn't know
Like,
what
this one's
would
gonna
actually
be a hit,
work, but
yeah.
we'd listen to it and go, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
that
Right.
one. And then it became popular. Or let's do that one. It's like, it's not that great. All right, maybe it's not as good live. Black Cat. What's up, pal? Oh, I scared him. So that was another
Yeah.
one of those things where we were able to kind of jump on some stuff for a while
Yeah.
there, here or there. Maybe just a couple weeks before it hit, or became like to the point where it was being pumped down everybody's throat, and everybody was like, "Whoa, now what's this?" And we were just kind of right there with it. So that was kind of cool too. It was kind of fun for us to do that.
Yeah.
Right now with the music we're doing now is
Yeah, that
we're
was
kind
our
of doing
next
going
question.
back to a little bit of nostalgia. So, you know, in the beginning, I kind of threw at them like, "Oh, here's songs I can sing. Here's this. Let's throw this in. Throw it into the pot." And immediately you're like, "Let's not do this one." You know, like a new Miley Cyrus song I had learned because I'm doing it on acoustic, but I was like, let's never touch that one again, you know? So then we're trying to figure out what we're doing and what we are, and we kind of narrowed it down like, you know, we really like the alternative music vibe of 80s, 90s, and then even 2000. Like people are like, well, why don't you just do 80s and 90s or 90s alternative? Well, there's a lot of great stuff from other eras and even into the 2000s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great music that we can
yeah.
still do that's considered alternative and people will like and be into. And I don't want to say I'm not doing it.
Right.
And so we are picking out of that genre. So I like how to describe what we are. We are an alternative rock music band. I would like to say we have a little bit more of a dancier vibe with it. You know, we're trying to keep it moving. There is some slower moments with some of the songs, but that's the vibe of what we're doing, you know?
You know, change it up in different.
And there's also
sections and
songs
stuff.
we're taking from the past that me and him have done in bands, from the Headspins in the past, or Love Lies Bleeding, or some of the ones that are like we haven't done in years that we just love. And if no one likes them, well, we're going to play them in a way that you're going to go, that was freaking awesome, because we like them.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel that from us playing it.
Yeah.
And to me, I get joy out of that, you know?
It's
So
a vibe of some sort.
It's a vibe.
You know, it's hard to capture, you know, emotion and stuff in a cover band. Like,
yeah, we're a cover
you
band,
know,
what I
but
mean?
we're a cover band, and like, but we do stuff that nobody else is doing or has done in a long time. And
Popular
that's-
B-side
you know,
stuff,
yeah,
you know,
it's
stuff
like
that
random,
were hits and
you know.
popping. You'll remember
Yeah.
at some point, but not necessarily all the mainstream stuff
Yeah.
that was popular then and even still popular now with a lot of the bands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of it is finding stuff just because, you know what, that's a great tune. We like it. Clearly, we want to be able to sell it to people and have them come out and enjoy it. So we are very cognizant of that. But
Yeah, well, that's the whole pitch right now is how do we sell ourselves?
Yeah.
You know, we're still trying to figure that out. We're still in the
Yeah.
beginning phase.
Yeah,
I'd
that's-
like to say it as we're in the soft launch of the band. We haven't done a hard launch where we're like, here's the photo. You know, all the things. We haven't done a group photo yet.
yeah,
Well, we did it with a friend last week. That would be the first group
Yeah,
photo,
I
right?
guess it would
But like we haven't
wouldn't
done
show
we
that
haven't
to
done photo shoot. we haven't done a video shoot.
look like I'm
We haven't done
homeless.
anything like that. We worked on the stuff.
they gotta
I was
work.
lucky enough to get
Hold on,
some
drummer too?
gigs, and you know, try to get something rolling. And here we are. We're rolling, but we're not ready for that roll yet. So there's a lot of work that's got to go into what we need to do next. We know that.
that's like stage
Yeah.
show stuff now.
Yeah,
Things
I mean,
that we
you know,
want to do
we have
stage
lights and
wise.
stuff that we don't bring out here because they already have lights, you know. So there's stuff that we don't
Yeah,
need
different
yet, you
setups,
know.
like how we can be a little more, you know, connected. Yeah, we gotta be ready. And you know, just you know, maybe just things on stage that could bring you know a little
Make it a
light
little more of
or
a show.
shiny,
Yeah,
and
something-
you know,
something shiny.
But I mean, it's really most of it at this point just getting comfortable as a three-piece. Trying to cover a lot of stuff that we used to do with more than three people.
And that's
and
what-
we're getting
that's-
very good at it. I think we have for
That's a
quite a while now, because I do find that when we do get to doing new material, We are banging it out a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
We already know. I'm
Oh,
going to
everybody
sing.
comes
I'm
in
going to try
prepared.
singing this one. I think Steve could. Why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? We are, at least I think, smart enough to know when things don't work. There's a couple tunes I've done already that I knew as soon as I sang it the first time. I was like, nope, just not going to work.
Yeah,
Great
it's,
tune, but just not going to work.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things I can't sing.
Yeah,
either.
sometimes
And there's
just
a lot of
repeat
stuff
it's
it's
a lot
just-
harder.
Steve
Well,
can
what-
sing anything.
Yeah, or what people like.
Whatever Steve tries
Is it going to get
is gold.
emotion out of people? Are
Yeah.
they going to be like, yeah? Sometimes they just don't, and you just got to kind of know that, and then you
Yeah.
move on to something else,
Yeah.
and you pick something else that'll work.
We got to go to work.
But yeah,
Anything else we want to add to this?
I guess, the one thing I would say, since you guys are fairly new, do you at least have one song that's your favorite right now to perform together?
Oh man,
I have a couple, so that's
There's
really
a lot
hard.
There's a lot of good ones.
So-
Yeah, well, maybe give us a couple
All right.
that you love.
One of my favorite, a couple of my favorites right now is Smashing Pumpkins songs. So doing like Cherub Rock, just got a vibe. It's got a punch. It's got this whole like kick your teeth in thing. I really love that. There's another song we have called Homeboy by a band called Adorable that Steve sings. I always loved the song, and I was like, when I thought about it, like bringing it back, like nobody knows it, nobody cares, but when we play it on stage, I just feel like it's magic. I feel it in me. I get all sparkly.
Well, you know what though? We did
Right?
used to play that with the
Yeah.
Love Lies and
Yeah,
the Pump.
and we
So
do
I
it
mean,
with
it
Misfits,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So
and there's a
it
couple
has its
songs like that
place.
are these obscure ones. I don't know if these, whatever you guys like that you do. Anything Steve sings, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
anything
magic
Steve
to me.
sings is good.
I always say, I'm like, whatever he sings, I'm
we
having
have
fun with.
we have like we do. Rob and I have done some acoustic shows, so we have like lighter stuff that we do. That's fun. Like I kind of like New Wave Girl, which again is a song that nobody knows, but it's really fun. I think I Want to Be Adored by Stone Roses is right now is my current favorite. I think. But like, yeah, I mean, we do. But we do heavy stuff too, and that's the beauty of this is like we can do any genre we want to do, but not
Yeah.
always. We're not going to do any country, but obviously.
Not country.
No.
The other one I wanted to add to that, one of my favorite ones is a song called "What Do All the People Know." Was it
Yeah, it's
Monroes?
an '80s song from
The Monroes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
And-
which
good
I've
too.
never heard anybody do, which is weird.
It's an
I did it once with one.
older
band.
80s song, but both
Once.
Steve and I sing through the whole thing in a harmony in the whole thing. And it's one of my favorite ones. I do have it in the set tonight, I think in the second set.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
awesome.
great. It's,
And
a lot
it's one of the
fun.
ones that's this, every time I'm in it, I'm like, I can't believe we're doing this song. You'll watch my face. I'm like,
Yeah.
So you don't hear
I know.
you don't hear my third harmony then. So then
I'm sorry.
I'm not. No,
You know,
that's good. I'm
that's
not
what it
throwing
is.
them off then. 'cause
That's
I'm
what
in
it
the
is.
back and
It's your third harmony that's enhancing it.
That's
Way
right.
more.
No, I'm just glad you don't hear it because
Yeah.
that means that it's not.
What's your favorite song, John?
your favorite song?
I
Rob?
know that.
I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite.
You don't like any of them?
Purple Rain.
do you-
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain?
I like the Purple Rain, which we don't do, but I do like the Purple Rain. Geez, I don't know.
Purple Rain.
There he is.
Purple Rain.
He's got a buddy now.
In on that.
He can ride that thing.
It's several buttons.
I've got two flats. How am I getting home?
You're not. You're sleeping in the parking lot.
I'm glad you live
Guess
down
I
here.
gotta call my girl.
Do you have a good, what's a good one, Steve? Give me a song that we do that is
I
a
think the
favorite
Queens
of
of
mine.
the Stone Age probably right now.
Queens of the
I'd
Stone.
say.
That's
all
your
right.
favorite?
No one knows. I don't know if it's my favorite, but
Oh.
it's a fun one. I'm still working with it. You know,
So you got that going. for
singing
you.
and playing,
Which is
trying to
nice.
do the Phil Collins thingy is,
Yeah.
you know, it's keeping me on my toes.
Well, you got his hair.
I do have his hair. You'll see as soon as we get out there.
All right. Any
I'm not in a
other
wheelchair,
questions?
though.
No, I just wanted to say welcome back to the stage.
Thank you.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for this. Thank you.
Awesome. This was
we're
sweet.
excited
Thank
Sorry,
to
I hope
see
this
you
doesn't
guys.
come out completely embarrassing. but,
No, I think
I got to tell you, I love these guys. I'm very happy to be working with them.
Brothers.
This is the most fun I've had playing music in a lot of years.
Yeah.
I really hate saying that, but I want to, like, I'm happy.
That's
And
Yeah,
I
it's just-
feel like we're a team. And as far as bringing someone else into the band, no one else is invited in this band. This is
Listen,
it.
Damn.
it's-
We had
it's-
many offers.
Listen,
we had
yeah.
a lot of offers, which is really weird.
We're
It's
long-
really weird.
we're-
Everybody's like, "Oh, you should have me come in. I
Just
could do
ruin
this." I
the
go,
vibe,
"Why?"
You know?
no. I
Listen,
think,
we're long time
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
musicians together, and family. And even with all the time that went by, as soon as we got into a room, it was like
Yeah.
we
That's
saw
what
him a
stands out
couple
to me
months
is
ago,
like how
and
quick
let's
it-
just keep
like,
going.
You know, I don't usually have to like beat up a drummer to mold him to fit me, but I don't have to do that. Like I don't have to,
You don't have to beat
figure
him
out
up.
Rob
You
because
should beat him up.
I can hear Rob in my
I
sleep.
just need a
you know,
good
I mean,
ass kicking
honestly,
for really no reason at all. But I just
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
fun. It's really gratifying.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike. It's like I totally
Yeah.
remember how Steve played and
Right.
Rob, and we just all kind of, and took in the new changes and stuff, which is very cool. And
Totally.
yeah, I think it helps that we didn't have to get through that awkward stage.
right.
And I
Yeah.
think the
Just
whole
the mullet
nostalgic
stage.
part, like people like me who were huge fans of Love Pumps and Love Live Believing, they're gonna see you guys. And when I saw him like invite me to like the page, I'm like, oh my god! I'm like,
Yeah,
because I know you
Right.
from Lightspeed. You know, I go see Lightspeed all the time, and then I'm like, wait, that's your old drummer.
I
So
know.
like that was like
I
super
know.
exciting. I'm
Right.
like, this is gonna be awesome. The
They're
three
awesome,
of them
man.
coming
Thank
She's
you.
so
together.
excited.
That's
Yeah.
I love it.
So
Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank
cool.
That's
you.
Well,
really
hope we don't
gratifying.
disappoint you.
Yeah.
That's
No
what-
way. Yeah.
Impossible.
Impossible.
All right. So,
Thank you very
any
much.
other anything else?
Thank
No,
you.
no,
good?
I think we're ready to hear you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sugar Dragons.
Sugar
Ho.
Dragon.
Let's get him.
Love them.
Nice job.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah.